Well, good morning, everybody. Joining my colleague Chris McGinness, and we're giving you our daily update. And on top of next week's cold snap, we got a lot of active weather today and into the weekend.
Yeah, a couple of days of really active stuff. Let's get to it and kind of break down the headlines as we go through the next 24 to 48 hours. And they are as follows, right? Breezy and wet the next few days here in the valley and at the coast as well. Heavy Cascade snow, and this is all weekend long, kind of a 1-2 punch up there. Rod's going to bring that up in just a minute. But one of the first things we want to talk about is the king tides and the high surf at the coast. There is a large swell headed for the Pacific Northwest here. And here's a look at the buoy reports over the last 24 hours. So up until now, it's been pretty quiet, but you can see that big bullseye of orange and yellow off to the left of your screen. Those are some 40-foot swells right now out over the northeastern Pacific that are going to take aim on the Oregon coast, Oregon and Washington coast, as we head into the next 24 hours or so. So here's a look at our wave model. This is the ocean swell forecast at 6 p.m. this evening. And you can see that bullseye continuing to work its way eastward. They dissipate some, but not that much. We're talking about maybe upwards of 30 feet. 30-foot swells could be hitting the Oregon and South Washington coast late tonight and early tomorrow morning before dissipating as we head into the rest of the day on Saturday. But it's going to be a stormy one and a very rough sea weekend at the beach. And of course, the other story is the wind advisory for the valley that's in effect this afternoon through 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. Here's the wind forecast. Rod, it's already been a pretty gusty morning at the coast.
Yeah.
The current wind gusts 40 to close to 40 at Astoria. Well, through noon today, we're looking at 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts along the north coast, and then eventually the wind's ratcheting up here in the valley, and our model likes wind gusts on the order of about 35 or so here in Portland, give or take. So that could be enough to bring down some tree limbs or maybe a scattered tree here and there. And obviously that's something that could maybe knock out power and for some folks. But overall, the theme is that this doesn't look like a huge wind event for the valley, but enough to be mindful of. And of course, then we've got the rain coming in.
Yes, we do. So keep in mind, the wind, we've had a lot of, it's been a windy last couple of weeks. There have been a number of days where we had winds gusting 30, 35, 36, 37 miles per hour. And again, maybe we have a spike where somebody hits 40 or better, and that can produce some problems, as you mentioned. The front that comes in, it's been light rain so far this morning for the most part. The front that comes in this afternoon in the valley, 1, 2 o'clock, the rain band moves in, and then it's pretty wet this afternoon, and then pretty wet over the weekend. I know some of the models have been giving us over 3/4 of an inch of rain going into tomorrow morning. But I also know that for whatever reason, the forecast modeling for rain amounts have been way overdone for our area for the last couple of weeks as well. So we'll see what we end up with. It seems to be a little bit
on the high side, which could mean that the snow amounts maybe are a little bit on the high side, but we're pretty confident that...
Well, the cold's coming, and this is a westerly flow pattern for the most part coming in aloft to the Cascades. So let me show you that. This is fun. This model, we can go ahead and take the weather computer. Look at that. This is total snow hitting Mount Hood all the way through the end of Friday afternoon at 5:30. It shows...
Sunday afternoon, so
I'm sorry,
all weekend
Sunday.
long.
Yeah, all weekend long. I apologize. Sunday. Over 40 inches at Hoodoo, maybe 48 inches plus on Mount Hood. I think it's definitely a good confidence call to say that at 5,000 feet, Meadows and Timberline will be getting at least 3 feet of snow. So that is really impressive stuff, no matter how you look at it. And here's the Cascade Pass right now. This is Highway 26, ODOT's camp up at Government Camp. Obviously pretty well plowed, but a lot of snow sitting on the hill up there, and traveling over the Cascades is going to look certainly no better than that all week long, and at times much, much worse. That's Santiam Pass, which doesn't look that great either. Wow, okay, what's temperature up there? About 30 degrees. So we kind of talked about how much snow is coming. I do want to point out, if you're traveling over the high country today, there might be a little window as that front arrives and south winds kick up, that the snow level could bounce up to 4,000 or 4,500 feet even. So maybe there's a little period of some wetness up there. But otherwise, this is all cold. Snow levels down to 3,000 and 2,000 feet over the weekend, with basically a foot possible tonight, a foot possible tomorrow, and a foot possible Sunday. So that's great news. And that will be on top of our current ski report, which right now has Timberline setting at 63, Meadows 54. Ski Bowl is now open. We're happy to report that for their night skiing. They'll be open this weekend, 31-inch base and climbing. So Ski Bowl has a chance to push a 50-inch base by the end of Sunday. Meadows has a chance to be up to at least 70-something for a base, and Timberline could get up into the 80-plus range for a base. And then you have to think you're kind of set with cold air in the forecast the rest of the month.
You're going pretty healthy there. And to the next segment, which is what we've been watching, is the things that we're sure about coming our way and into the valley next week. The cold, and then the timing of the moisture. So let's go ahead and get back to our models that we've been showing you every day to show you kind of what's been changing or not changing and how that relates to our forecast. This is the GFS showing the cold coming in, and well, it's pretty solidly in here, we think, by Tuesday. And with that in mind, we could see rain and snow changing to snow showers Monday night.
Yeah.
And then certainly by Tuesday, we would think it's cold enough to give us our first chance, if we do have moisture, of having.
Chris, what would you say the chance is? I guess in my mind, the moisture field's a little bit uncertain Tuesday morning, but I would have to say it's at least possible that Portland wakes up to a dusting to a couple inches on the ground Tuesday morning.
With the temperatures as they are and as they're forecast both in the Euro and the GFS, it gets us into that heightened awareness, I think, for Tuesday morning. So then the next question becomes, and here's just a different take on it. You're looking at the Euro model now. Again, it's not quite as cold as the GFS, but it's still hammering on the cold air coming down through the gorge and eventually setting up shop on the west side of the Cascades, which means low elevation snow, certainly possible early next week. As far as the timing of the moisture, that's still up for grabs.
Yeah, we don't like timing, do we?
Well, the models aren't helping us out at all, but I'm going to show them to you because, you know, at this point you're looking at your 7-day forecasts and your various weather apps, and you're seeing snowflakes for next week. So what are we looking at? This is the Euro, and this likes a Wednesday evening, Thursday for possibly a substantial snow event before even the European model warms us up a little bit. The GFS is a little different story, and that's what I'm showing you right now. The GFS gives us maybe even a little bit of a light snow threat late Monday into early Tuesday. So that, you know, we think it'll be cold enough at that point that anything that would fall could be in the form of snow and sticking by early Tuesday morning. But there's not a lot after that until we get into Wednesday afternoon. You see that next bullseye of moisture offshore? That's a big low that'll keep the east wind blowing. It'll keep the cold air, the refrigerator or the freezer door open, if you will, for the metro area. And then whether or not any of that moisture actually gets here is the question. But if it does, if it does, the GFS likes to track that low south of us, and that would keep us on the cold side of the storm.
And Chris's question of if that moisture gets here is a reference to the fact that that cold east wind coming out of the gorge, that's a dry wind, and it kind of has a tendency to eat up.
It's like Pac-Man.
Yeah, the moisture as it comes in. Often as a forecaster, you go, hey, we got all this moisture coming in. No, you don't. The east wind eats it away. So a lot of uncertainties yet, obviously.
Yeah, but since we're talking about it and showing what the models show us, right? Not that we're hanging our hats on this at all this far out, but again, we continue with the theme of there could be accumulating snow next week, and if it happens, it could be substantial. So this is what Futurecast is showing us. As I roll the clock on the Euro model, there you go.
Where are we at?
We're in that dark blue. So that's a 6-inch event, maybe. In the metro area, sometime in the Wednesday, Thursday time frame. Maybe. And
remember, you know, the trick to a lot of the forecasts, it's crazy. You know, we've done forecast events over the last few years where part of the viewing area is going, wow, those weather people are geniuses. And the other part of our viewing area going, well, it rained here. Those people are idiots. And keep in mind, more often than not, these snow events don't blanket the entire area. I'm just saying more often than not. It's very possible as that low comes up, parts of the valley and certainly the coast get a south wind flow. That becomes rain potentially, while other areas get to be cold. If you've lived here for a long time, you think of the best bet usually for it to be cold and for there to be snow or ice is on the east side. So you really don't know until you get closer to these events if there's going to be a push of south warming somewhere, or if everybody's just flat out going to be cold, or if the moisture field, as you point out, is simply going to evaporate with the cold east wind blowing out of the gorge into the valley.
So bottom line is we're still not any more certain today than we were on, say, Monday when we started having these discussions about whether or not we're going to see accumulating snow in the valley. But we're sure that we're going to get cold. We're sure that we're going to be cold enough to support snow at some point or some form of wintry precipitation in the viewing area, in the metro area, whether it's south side, right in the heart of Portland, over on the east side. And the time frame for that looks to be at this point somewhere in the Tuesday for maybe a light event, and then maybe something a little bit more substantial Wednesday into Thursday. And those details we hope to have a lot more ironed out by the time we're back in the office here on Monday morning.
So our parting shot, should we stock up on frozen pizzas? I say why not?
Always.
Always.
Just to have plenty of pizza around, right?
Have a good day. Thanks for watching and making KGW TV your choice for weather and news.